Ferrari arrived at the 1989 Brazilian Grand Prix equipped with Formula One's first semi-automatic paddle-shift gearbox, a revolutionary, if temperamental, piece of kit that had failed repeatedly in both testing and qualifying, with driver Nigel Mansell even booking an early flight home, so sure was he that the car would break down. But in the race, the gearbox held firm, and a customary relentless charge from Mansell saw him become the first winner on debut for Ferrari since Mario Andretti in 1971.
Nigel Mansell is almost home and dry in his first Grand Prix for Ferrari, a brilliant victory.
And just as importantly, Ferrari's cutting-edge innovation had been rewarded, with the semi-automatic gearbox now standard issue on every F1 car. The 1961 season was all about Ferrari, and nowhere were they more dominant than at Spa-Francorchamps. At the Belgian Grand Prix, their four works drivers took a clean sweep at the front of the race, Phil Hill beating title rival Wolfgang von Trips by less than a second, with Richie Ginther and Olivier Jean-Debien finishing third and fourth respectively. It was the last time any constructor achieved this incredible feat in Formula One, and within 3 months, Hill would secure Ferrari's fifth driver's title on home soil at Monza. Ferrari's first Formula One win came in the 1951 British Grand Prix at Silverstone, when Jose Froilán González made his championship Grand Prix debut, having sold most of his possessions to pay for the boat trip to Europe in order to take part. Nicknamed the Pampas Bull by his British fans, the Argentine started from pole and battled hard against compatriot Juan Manuel Fangio's Alfa Romeo. González was running strongly, but when teammate Alberto Ascari retired with gearbox trouble, he climbed from his car during a pit stop and offered to hand it over. Ascari, however, refused the offer, and González didn't look back, crossing the line 51 seconds ahead of Fangio. His reward was a gold watch, emblazoned with a prancing horse, courtesy of team boss Enzo Ferrari. Ferrari were up and running. Of his 91 race victories, none were surely sweeter for Michael Schumacher than the 1996 Spanish Grand Prix. It was his first victory for Ferrari, and arguably the finest of his career. But it didn't start well. Clutch problems had left him back in 6th place early on as rain battered the Barcelona track. In horrendous conditions, his rivals struggled to cope. But the rainmaster, Schumacher, soon carved his way through the field, at times lapping an astonishing 5 seconds faster than anyone else. By just lap 9, the leading pair of Jean Alesi and Jacques Villeneuve were in his sights.
Schumacher goes through! Brilliant driving in these appalling conditions, and Schumacher is past Jacques Villeneuve.
By the time he took the checkered flag, Schumacher was still lapping 3 seconds faster than anyone else, as he put in the performance of a lifetime. After a 5-year slump that saw the Scuderia record just 2 race wins, Schumacher's victory heralded the start of a new and glorious era for Ferrari. Niki Lauda's horrific and near-fatal accident at the Nurburgring in 1976 is one of Formula One's most famous sights. Read the last rites by a priest after being hauled from the wreckage by the heroic Merzario, Edwards, Lunga and Oertel, nobody could have predicted that Lauda would return to the cockpit just 2 races and 6 weeks later at Ferrari's home race of Monza in an attempt to halt James Hunt's assault on his championship crown. He qualified a remarkable 5th, and with his terrible wounds still staining the inside of his crash helmet with blood, finished in an astonishing 4th place in the Grand Prix, as the Tifosi hailed one of the bravest and most miraculous comebacks in the history of sport. Alberto Ascari clinched Ferrari's first world championship at the 1952 German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring, with what was his 4th of 6 successive victories. Despite leading every lap of the race, Ascari took the flag just 14 seconds ahead of teammate Nino Farina, following an epic 3-hour battle on the undulating and unrelenting 28-kilometre circuit. Ascari's victory made him the first of Ferrari's 9 drivers' champions to date, and he remains the last Italian driver to win the title. Arriving in Sao Paulo for the finale of the 2007 season, 3 drivers had a shot at becoming world champion. Rookie Lewis Hamilton and defending champion Fernando Alonso led the way for McLaren, with Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen the rank outsider in 3rd, 7 points behind Hamilton. Raikkonen qualified 3rd, sandwiched between Hamilton in 2nd and Alonso in 4th, and with Ferrari teammate Felipe Massa on pole.
Here we go, Massa goes across, Hamilton covers and Raikkonen looks like he's gone round the outside of him.
The start was sublime as Massa and Raikkonen pulled away. For Hamilton, it was a horror show.
Hamilton looks desperate here.
He's gone way too deep in turn 4, now he's in trouble.
It got worse for the Briton as he soon dropped back to 18th with a gearbox problem. At the front, Raikkonen set some blistering laps, and after the second set of pit stops, Ferrari switched their drivers to let the Finn into the lead. In the chasing pack, Hamilton showed his fighting spirit to recover to 7th, but could do no more. And with Alonso's title challenge faltering in 3rd, Raikkonen won the race, taking the championship by just a single point as Ferrari snatched the title from under the noses of old rivals McLaren.
Okay, it's all over. It's all over. Hamilton 7th. By my calculations, we win the championship by 1 point.
Raikkonen was the 3rd Finnish racer to win the World Championship and remains the last Ferrari driver to date to win the title. After John Surtees won the Drivers' Championship for Ferrari and helped them secure the Constructors' crown in 1964, the team went over a decade without another title. An unacceptable situation for their leader, Enzo Ferrari. And it wasn't until 1975 that the prancing horse was back on top. At the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, the 25-year-old Austrian Niki Lauda needed to finish 5th or better to take the title. McLaren's Emerson Fittipaldi did his best to stop him, overtaking the Austrian late on to take 2nd place. But it wasn't enough, and after teammate Clay Regazzoni took the win, Lauda finished 3rd to win his first world title, and the team's 3rd Constructors' Championship, as the Tifosi erupted. The new millennium saw a new era for the Scuderia. After going more than 2 decades without a driver's champion, Michael Schumacher began the 2000 season like a man possessed, winning 5 of the first 8 races, following his curtailed 1999 season when he broke a leg in a crash at Silverstone. His chief rival Mika Häkkinen fought back to erode his lead, but destiny was calling. The championship came down to the penultimate round in Japan, where, starting from pole, Schumacher lost the lead to Häkkinen at the start.
And Michael Schumacher cuts straight across and drives Mika Häkkinen towards the wall, but Häkkinen's done it again, he's taken the lead.
But he regained it after his second pit stop, coming out ahead of the Finn to win the race, and with it, the title. An elated Schumacher took his 3rd Drivers' Championship, but more significantly, Formula One's most successful team had a Drivers' Champion again, after 21 years. Monza played host to a truly magical moment in 1988, with the Italian Grand Prix staged just weeks after the death of the team's founder, Enzo Ferrari. The dominant McLarens of Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost had won all 11 of the races thus far held in the season, and any chance of a fairy tale victory looked to be remote at best. But fortune would favour Ferrari, as first Prost retired from 2nd place with engine failure, before leader Senna collided with backmarker Jean-Louis Schlesser and crashed out of the race while attempting to lap the Williams. Gerhard Berger and Michele Alboreto were on hand to take advantage and deliver a truly unlikely 1-2, as the crowd went wild on a day that will never be forgotten.